Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, give a shot at Parish Construction Roofing. And so there were tornadoes in Amite yesterday. So sincerely hope everybody was all right with the bad weather. But if you did have a roof issue, give us a shout. We'd love to help you out. Okay, what I wanted to do today, since several of you asked on Tuesday's show after LSU season ended, was kind of go over a 2025 LSU baseball roster outlook. And candidly, full disclosure, we did talk about this on AFR, and it is part of today's LSU Daily episode, which is live. So if you want a little more detailed explanation of all this, we could certainly do that. So here's kind of how I looked at it. I broke it down, the roster for next year in tiers, like who's definitely gone, who's definitely back, and then who has decisions to make. So kind of want to run through that. And then, of course, if you got questions, as always, fire away. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. So smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Boop. Sorry, I am trying to pin this in the chat there, as it were. All right. That was loud. So the way that I see it is there are 7 players, all right, that are out of eligibility. So your seniors and your graduates. You had 2 graduates, and Alex Milazzo and Hayden Travinsky. And then your seniors are Ben Napolt, Mac Bingham, Nate Ackenhausen, Will Helmers, Christian Little. So those 7, the 5 I just mentioned, plus Travinsky, Milazzo, those 7 are out of eligibility. So you're losing those 7 for sure. There are 4 players that are absolutely signing. They're getting drafted. They're signing Tommy White, Luke Holman, Gage Jump, Thatcher Hurd. So there's 11 right there that are gone. And then we know 3 players that have already entered the transfer portal. Austin Rolig, Micah Bucknam, and Zeb Ruddle. So you have the 7 graduates, the 4 that are going to be drafted, and then those 3. That's 14 players already that you know are going to be gone. So remember, you have a 40-man roster limit. So those 14 that we just mentioned are gone. So you got 14 spots there. Now there's going to be more. There's going to be more that enter the portal, and there's going to be more that have decisions to make. So the others that have decisions to make, I've put them in like this category. Guys that either could return, could transfer, or could go pro. Start with the draft eligible sophomores. At the top of the list, I think, is Jared Jones. You all know my feelings on it. I think Jared Jones is a guy that somebody in the top 100 picks is going to call him and offer him $1 million, and I think he signs. I don't know that he will. I don't know what he's thinking. I haven't talked to anyone that represents him. What I have done is talk to people who are in baseball circles with big league teams, scouting departments, and that's the feeling on Jones. Someone's going to call him within the top 100 picks and offer him $1 million, and it's hard to say no to that. So Jones is one to watch. Herring is obviously one to watch because he's a draft eligible sophomore, and he could return and try to win a starting rotation job. He could transfer where someone is going to guarantee him the opportunity to be in a rotation, or we'll see what happens with the draft. Now, it could be a thing where you got a guy that's lefty that throws mid-90s. He's been a reliever, and somebody takes him in round 6 and he signs. It could happen that way. That happened with it was a junior, but it was oh God, why am I blanking? I'm blanking now. Anyway, it'll hit me when I'm not thinking about it. But LSU, I don't know, 5 years ago, so had a left-handed pitcher. I think it might have been 2019. Had a left-handed pitcher who everyone was very high on. Was a very good reliever for LSU. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, and he was drafted and signed. Nick Bush. Nick Bush is who I was thinking of. So Nick Bush got drafted in the 8th round by Colorado and signed. Could have come back when the 8th round to Colorado and signed. So you could see something like that with Herring. And then the other two were Gavin Guidry and Paxton Kling. So Gavin Guidry could come back and be a reliever again. If he wants to play middle infield somewhere, he's going to have to transfer. Someone's going to let him have an opportunity to play middle infield and hit. Or as a draft eligible sophomore, he could take a shot. I don't know that a team would take him, but if he's willing to sign and wants to go start a pro career, he probably could. And then Paxton Kling is the other one we've talked a lot about. I don't know that Kling at this point is a draft prospect, maybe a flyer in the late rounds, but a guy that could come back and probably be in the same role, rotational guy, defensive replacement, because Jake Brown's going to be your center fielder next year, barring something unforeseen. Or Paxton Kling could go transfer to a lower level and get 200 at-bats and hit 300 against lesser pitching and show big league scouts that he can swing the bat. So, that's that. And then the guys, we talked about the guys that kind of have a decision to make. Other ones, Brady Neal is a guy. Does he want to come back and compete for a job, or does Brady Neal go somewhere in the portal, get a little cash, and go somewhere where he's going to get to play? Same for Cam Johnson. Does he come back and compete to try to be in your rotation, or does he go somewhere where there isn't as much competition, where he's going to be able to be in a rotation immediately? Those are the kind of decisions that some of these guys are going to have to make. So, Justin Lohr could come back. And one more I should mention, I fully expect Fidel Ulloa as a junior of 96 from the right side that he'll sign. Again, if he comes back, he loses all of his leverage. So I expect Ulloa is going to be gone. I think there's 3 or 4, maybe 4 players definitively that are back. 100% are back. Kane Anderson's back. Jake Brown, Stephen Milam, Josh Pearson. I'm thinking of the contributors, of the guys that actually contributed on this team. I think those are the ones that you're sure of. Your 3 outfielders. Larson was the other one, excuse me. So Brown, Larson, Pearson, Milam, Anderson. Those are definitively back. So you start there. And then after that, see how it goes. So Jay's got a lot of work to do with this roster. Okay, let's say some good morning. Smash the like button if you would, subscribe up to the channel. I got a hard stop today at 8 o'clock. So let's do about 16 minutes here. Abner Neal, James McKinney, good morning, y'all. Hey, Wendell, what's up? Larry Garner. Kerry Hughes, good morning from Chicago. When it finally gets nice this time of year, huh? You're into June. It's got to be nice. Trivia, Tiger Diaper, Robert Email, the Mandeville Culture, Deborah Coward, Charlie Cavell, good morning, y'all. Hey, Matt, good morning. Thanks for being here, y'all. Appreciate it. Kevin, Kirk, what up, dude? Hey, Dad, good morning. Thad Landry, Brian Wynn, good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. All right, Leon, morning, Scone. We have a shortstop from my city, Mansfield, Texas, coming to play shortstop, David Hogg. I don't think he'll get drafted high enough to enroll, but he's good. Good. That's the other one I should have mentioned. Forgive me. I was doing it off the top of my head. It was Braswell. Braswell have a decision to make. He could come back for a senior year. He is probably he's not a top 10 round guy, probably a late round flyer, but he probably signs while he still has leverage, especially with the way he swung the bat this year. Long way to go before he's a real legitimate big league prospect, and he might not have the range to play short, but might be a second baseman. But Braswell is another one I should have mentioned. So, we talked about it yesterday. While I was doing the show here, I told y'all there was a I got a note yesterday while I was on the air. Louisville shortstop Gavin Killen is in the portal. Hit 330 last year. He's the number 17 ranked prospect for the 2025 draft. He jumped in the portal and I basically was texted yesterday during this show and was told expect LSU to be in the mix for him. So, Cajun Country, good morning. I hate to say it, but it looks like either the Vols or the Aggies will win it all. You never know, man. It's one great thing about college baseball is, or one of the great things about college baseball is there is some randomness to it, man. We haven't seen the number one national seed win the championship since 1999, the first year of this format. Miami won it. And since then, there's not been a number one national seed win it. So that means Tennessee. See, Tennessee does have a pretty sweet path. They've got to go through Evansville to get back to Omaha. So they should win the series at home against Evansville, but we'll see. Timothy Fontenot. Hey, Rex, good morning. Brad, do you expect Blake Baker to make a big difference this year? I do, Brad. And to be clear, and maybe this is semantics, LSU was 118th in the country last year in pass defense, and they were triple digits in every meaningful category. So if you are that bad, and this year you're 50% better, you're still in the 60s defensively, so you're not great, but you said will he make a big difference? I would say that would be a big difference. So I do think so. Jason H, morning Matt, kicks of the day. Haven't put them on yet, man. Haven't decided what I'm going to wear yet. I went and worked out this morning, showered, and I was running a little late getting dressed, and I saw it was like already 7:30. I was like, oh man, let me just throw on a pair of shirt and jump in. So I'm wearing shorts and I'm barefoot. Like I just got out of my cold plunge and then the shower and jumped and came right in here. Made my coffee and came right in here. So, all right, Dane Berger, what up, Dane? Good morning, Brent. Kirby Loop, what makes him a draft eligible sophomore? Good question, Kirby. So the rules for the MLB draft are you either have to be 3 years removed from high school, or you have to turn 21 by the signing day. So the draft is in July. The date by which players have to sign their contract, elect if they're going to sign their contract or go back to school or whatever. If you have to be 21 by that day. So all the guys that I mentioned, Bear Jones, Gavin Guidry, Griffin Herring, Paxton Kling, they'll all be 21 before that date. So that means they're draft eligible because they'll be 21. So every year you have guys like that. Maybe they were held back in school or just the way that they're, where their birthday fell, or they like an older member of their class who was a sophomore, finish up their sophomore year, they're 21 before their junior year starts. Let's see. Jay, good morning. Matty Tall, good morning. Cam said he's locked in with LSU. Great. I mean, that's awesome. And I'm hopeful that it stays that way because I think he's a phenomenal talent. He passed on a lot of money to come to LSU, and I sincerely hope that he stays and has an awesome career here. I mean, I'm looking at his Twitter. Braswell tweeted yesterday I guess that was when they lost on June 3rd. Anyway, I didn't see anything on Twitter from Cam. I'm not saying he hasn't said that. I didn't see that, but I hope that's true. But whenever the NIL vultures come out, we'll see. But I would love to see Cam Johnson come back, grow, develop, mature, become a great pitcher, and a guy that's 100 from the left side that goes number one in the draft in 2 years. But I also understand how the NIL era works and the portal era works. And somebody wants to float that kid an offer, somebody will. You know what I mean? Damon Gilmore, good morning. Jimmy Bourgeois. Well, it's not just 3 years out of high school, Jimmy. Again, just to be clear, it's 3 years out of high school, or if you're 21 before the signing day. So that's why you have draft eligible sophomores. They're not redshirt sophomores; they're true sophomores. Let's see, Glenn. Good morning, Matt. Love the parish hat next to the Brock hat. Oh, cool. This one. It's funny. I think I mentioned it before, but Terrio did about 20 different hat, maybe not 20, but he did a lot of hat designs. And so, we're handing some out, giving them to family and friends and stuff like that, trying to decide which are the most popular, and then we'll do like a large scale run on the ones that end up being the most popular. Most people, I think, seem to like the shield logo as opposed to the horizontal logo. This one, though, but it really pops. I guess because the lettering's bigger and all that sort of stuff. But thank you. Feedback appreciated. Bubba Smith, Wayne Blanchard, good morning. Shelby, how much does Yeski's future determine the future of the guys that are transfer risk? 4 pitching coaches in 4 years would be crazy. That's true, but also keep in mind, which is why, listen, that's why Jay hired Yeski, was to build some stability there instead of hiring a coach that would be another flight risk for becoming a head coach. Remember, that's what happened with Jason Kelly and with Wes Johnson. You hired great coaches, they went and became head coaches. So I think he hired Yeski with the idea that he'd be here. Well, I don't think anybody anticipated it wouldn't go great, that it would be as bumpy as it was this year. But for this late run, I mean, I could tell you I definitely had calls with folks. I don't want to say this. Let's just say I think there were coaches around the country inquiring if Yeski was going to be available. And I think this late run probably put the kibosh on that because you really pitched it well late, and hopefully that is a lot of development. So, Cindy Guillat, good morning. Charlie, the shortstop from Louisville, is in the portal. Talked about it yesterday. Charlie, literally, I was on Morning Scone yesterday when I got a text of that tweet, and I was told that LSU will be in the mix for him. So, that would probably lead you to believe Braswell won't be back. But a middle infield of Milam, if Milam stays at second, which I would assume he would in that instance. And Gavin Killen, the Louisville shortstop, transferring at short. If you get him right, would be interesting. It'd be great. But I know. I tweeted that yesterday that LSU was going to be in the mix because, again, I was told point blank LSU was going to be in the mix for him. And there were some people clapping back at me on Twitter like, oh, just like Luke Hill last year from Arizona State. Luke Hill wanted to come to LSU last year. The issue was that LSU had already taken Braswell. And I say issue, I use that term loosely. I hope you know what I mean. And I'll explain this to y'all, but Luke Hill went to the College World. Luke Hill, while playing at Arizona State, went to the College World Series last year as an LSU fan, and he also has ties to being an Episcopal kid to Todd Graves, and let's just say that they would have had NIL deals already worked out, and I think Luke Hill wanted to come to LSU last year, but LSU already taken Braswell. And the challenge is in the portal era. If you take a kid early and then later somebody better goes into the portal, and so then you go take that guy, well, then other coaches can use that to negative recruit. For example, LSU took Braswell. If LSU had taken Luke Hill, then coaches could look at guys in the future and say, are you sure you want to commit to LSU? Because look at what they did to Braswell. If nothing printed. Ooh. I'm blocking you, Rock. Yeah, in the drawer. You can move my guitar. I think the top one. I think it's in the top one, Erica. Look at the bottom. No. No. Not in there. I'm blocking you, Rock. They can see your shoe, your ankle. Okay. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe over the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. So always shout out to Brock. You need Northpetus, they're the best. You need a roof, give us a shout at Paris. Some awful weather in the area. There was bad weather yesterday, honey, Rock. Really bad. It was so bad. Call Parrish. Mark, any chance Connor Griffin makes the Baton Rouge? No. Rocky, good morning. Spurge, good morning. Trivia, I don't understand why Brady Neal would leave. Alex and Hayden are gone. LSU is going to get a catcher in the portal, and they have a couple of talented catchers signed as well. Unless if you're guaranteed to be the starter, I mean, he's been a platoon guy the last 2 years. So can he go somewhere where he can make a lot of NIL money and be an everyday, guaranteed to be an everyday starter? Again, what's up, Weston? Everybody in the NIL portal era makes decisions for different reasons. Like, you and I logically may not understand why they make decisions for the reason they do, but everybody makes decisions for different reasons. Everybody has different considerations. And I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm just saying you have to accept that that's the reality. Let's see. I'll move over here to block E-Rock so I don't have to hold up my hand like I'm an idiot. Like I'm just sitting there like this. Oh, I'm blocking you, E-Rock. That's happening. Oh, look, there's a pair sign there too. Huh. Steven, I think Jones has a decent chance to come back. Can improve his draft stock. Still have leverage. He could have leverage, but I don't know how much he improves his draft stock. Like, this is the point I keep making about Jones is, like, the way you improve your draft stock as a prospect is you develop others of the 5 tools, right? The glove, the arm, the speed, the hit for average, hit for power. Those are the 5 tools. Like, Jones is going to be a first baseman. He's not all of a sudden going to become a great outfielder, right? So, like, the glove, the arm, the speed, those are never going to be there for Jones. It's just hit for average, hit for power. He's going to be a 2-tool guy. He's going to play first base at the next level. He's going to play first base, be expected to hit homers. So he hit 28 homers. Like, he's got the power tool. So what really are you, if he comes back, what really is he trying to improve upon? So I just disagree with the whole he could improve his draft stock, because I don't know how much he can improve his draft stock. Like, he's already shown you he can hit elite pitching. He can hit for power. His plate discipline was dramatically better this year. So, I don't know if he wants to come back for another year of college to grow, to mature, all that stuff. Sure. And he would be the starting first baseman and hit right in the middle of the lineup again. It would be awesome. I hope he does. But I also don't think it's a total no doubter.
Operation panel closed. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, my H just got moved, so I have a little time. Okay, please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's see. Is it true Dutton, Travinsky, Mac Bingham are leaving? Well, Travinsky and Bingham are out of eligibility. And Dutton, I would think, probably transfers to somewhere that's going to give him an opportunity to pitch more regularly. He just didn't get enough innings this year. I would think Dutton is a transfer risk. I don't know that definitively, but I would think he's a risk. Kling needs to work on his hitting. True, Ross, but that's why I think Kling is going to transfer. It would make the most sense for Paxton Kling to go, and I've used this example about Mac Bingham. Mac Bingham was first team All Pac-12 last year and hit 360 at Arizona. He comes to the SEC and hits 250. The SEC is a vastly better league than the Pac-12. So I think for Paxton Kling, who hit 220 this year and has struggled to hit in 2 seasons, if you go play in the American, be an everyday center fielder, get 200 at bats, and hit 300 next year, you increase your draft stock. Dylan Landry, what's going on? Any staff changes for baseball? Yeah, Tiger Diver, I tell you, man, If you had asked me a month ago, I would have said yes. And that was a very real possibility. I think the way they finished, you might hold true. Maybe keep an eye on Josh Jordan if he gets an opportunity somewhere else. That could happen, but I don't know that. Okay.
Today.
Yeah. Okay. You can leave that open. Okay, babe. Bye. All right. All right. So my 8 just got moved, so I can stay a little bit longer here. Cody, I don't care about nothing else except dragging Ole Miss through the dirt in Tiger Stadium. Yes, I'm still mad. LOL. Dane. Sorry, Dane. As much as those are my friends and all that, and we had a great run with them, we're not mentioning, for brand confusion purposes, not mentioning the can't say the H word. I cannot let the wires get crossed in my brain. I can only say parish. Oh, let's see. I got to figure out a way that y'all can hear this. I don't know why this doesn't work. I mean, I'm trying to play this for y'all, but like, here is the 30-second parish jingle. I hope y'all can hear it. I hope this plays well. Construction and roofing. We got you covered from the top of your roof all the way down. Construction and roofing. Could y'all hear that at all? I don't know why we have such an issue with audio here and y'all not being able to hear, but were y'all able to hear that at all? Anyway, I don't know why, man. I don't know why y'all can't hear when I play. I tried to Bluetooth it as well. I mean, I'll do the Bluetooth thing again and try to turn it down so it's not super loud, but hang on. All right. I'm not going to turn it super loud. I'm going to keep it kind of low. All right, I'm playing it on Bluetooth. Let's see if this works this time. Construction and roofing. At Parish, we got you covered from the top of your roof all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. So some of y'all are saying much better. I've tried to you said it's better, but slightly better. I don't know why it's not good. It's really perplexing. Like the audio board I have is a Rodecaster, and we use those at Guarantee. And I mean, we record phone calls and podcasts. I use the Bluetooth function all the time. Like, I'm really perplexed why this isn't working. There's got to be a setting somewhere in there that's just not good. But see, some of y'all are saying you could hear it well. Started off good, then messed up. I don't know, maybe because I turned the volume up a smidge. All right, let me turn it down. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm gonna turn it down. Y'all, I'm gonna only put about a quarter of the way level up on the volume. Let's see, maybe that prevents it from overmodulating. Okay, tell me if this is good. All right, last time I promised, and I'm back to y'all's questions. All right, this is the parish jingle. Jeff, try kicking it. All right, here we go. Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we got you covered from the top of your roof all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built from North Town. Okay, was that better? Hopefully I could hear it that time. Anyway, Cody said, what interface? Not good. I don't know. What interface are you using? So I have a Rodecaster is my board, which I have wired into my gaming laptop, very expensive laptop that I bought specifically for streaming purposes. And I mean, and then the software I'm using is StreamYard. So anyway, okay, let me turn my mic. But the weird thing is, turn my mic off. It shouldn't matter that my mic is on because when it's Bluetooth in, not like I don't hear it audibly. Like I don't have speakers in here, so it's not playing through my mic. All right, I'll turn my mic. All right, what last time we're troubleshooting this live on Morning Scone. All right, last time I'm turning my mic off and I'm going to play it. Okay, mic's going off.
Construction and roofing at Parrish, we got you covered from the top of your roof all the way down. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrish built. Parrish built. Parrish built. From your hometown. ParrishBuilt.com.
Some of y'all are saying good. Some of y'all are saying stain cut. Oh, well. All right. Bummer. Okay. Please, either way, give us a shout at Parrish Construction and Roofing. You're going to start hearing that jingle on radio a lot. So everybody's going to get to know the Parrish jingle. Okay. David, what was the pour you had during the Monday night evening scone? Yeah, so big shout out to my guy Rooney Email over at Sunshine. It was this. So it was Whistle Pig Summer Stock. So shout out to Rooney over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. So it's the Whistle Pig Summer Stock, the Pit Viper limited edition. As I learned, I didn't know this. Pit Viper apparently are the glasses, the shades that all the baseball guys wear. And if you notice on the Whistle Pig logo, on the pig, on the logo, he's wearing the glasses. So I don't know if you could see that. It kind of looks like it goes out a little bit. But anyway, that's what I was drinking. So pretty cool blend, sun toasted. 86 proof, so really good whole, like full flavor for something that's low proof at 86 proof. So I really enjoyed it. Very good pour, very good summer pour. Caleb Clark, Crawfish Etouffee. Hey, Becky Herod, good morning. Read yesterday Moffitt put his name in the portal. So that makes sense. That's another one we talked about as well on AFR when we're running through all the guys. I didn't see that Aiden Moffitt put his name in the portal, but that's not a surprise. It's one I had heard. A guy that's just he's been here for 2 years and is looking probably for an opportunity to go somewhere where he's going to be able to get on the mound and pitch more consistently, pitch more innings. So again, like you're going to see a lot of guys hit the portal this year. It's part of the portal era. And, you know, that's always been a thing with baseball where guys transfer if they don't play, but typically they would go down to the JUCO level or something like that. Now with the portal, they can go anywhere they want. So that's to your benefit and to your detriment. And look, Aiden Moffitt is a big, strong-arm righty who just didn't get a lot of innings this year. So go somewhere where you're going to be able to pitch. Let's see. Josh Blackman, if Neil doesn't come back, what does that leave them with? Just Priester coming in. And the thing about Priester as well, keep in mind, so for those who know Blaze Priester, Live Oak kid, very high, highly regarded prospect a couple of years ago, and everybody thought he was going to sign. He ended up not getting the money out of high school he thought he was going to get, so he ended up going JUCO, and he's been really good in the JUCO ranks. He's re-signed with LSU now, but he is a draft risk. So I'll be curious if Blaze Priester ever shows up on campus. I would love it if he does, because I think he would be immediately your best defensive catcher and best hitting option, offensive option. So I would love it if Blaze Priester showed up. I just don't think you're counting on that at this point. Shelby, yeah. So Priester, I just kind of told you, from Live Oak, great prospect, power bat, can hit for average, great defensive catcher. Like, he was thought to be a guy that was going to sign a pro contract out of high school. It was always thought that was going to be his path, and he just didn't get the offer he wanted, and so he went JUCO. Can't Cajun Country, how's the new babysitter working out? Yeah, Drew's doing good with her. Thank you. So we're for those that who haven't heard, so Drew's Erica's mom, Mimi, has been sick, and she's the one who always has watched Drew ever since. And she's a retired school teacher, and she retired when Erica was pregnant with the idea that she'd watch Drew, and that's before we even knew he was sick. And then obviously everything happened the way it did with Drew being in the hospital and everything. But Mimi's the one that picks up Drew from school and takes him to therapy and all that stuff. So when she got sick, very candidly, all the last month, 4-6 weeks have been kind of flipped on their head. Eric and I have had to really alter our schedules a lot as far as watching Drew and running into therapies and balancing work. I've been working and prepping a lot from home. It's been a challenge, but anyway, so we got a couple of people who have come and helped us. So called babysitter, nanny, whatever you want to say, who have come and helped Drew. So Caroline has been with Drew this week. Paige was with Drew last week. So, and he's doing well with him. Yes. So thank you for asking. Michael Cook, what's going on? Trivia. You had your hand up. Do you have a question? Rooney, what up, dude? There's Rooney right there. Rooney, email Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. And Rooney, I gave Grace a big shout out yesterday. Grace, of course, is Grace Vest, who is the marketing director over at Sunshine, who is phenomenal at what she does, very creative, does an awesome job. And but I think she was Rooney told me that when he brought me the whiskey, he was like, Grace get upset that you always mention me and not her. Let's see. Tyler, what are the odds the pitcher from Catholic ends up at LSU? Not good. Now look, I mean, William Schmidt, by the way, he was at the game Monday in Chapel Hill. So, I mean, he's a diehard LSU fan. But if some MLB team calls you and offers you $3 million, you're going to pass on that? Maybe, but I mean, he's going to get first round money. And, the last pick of round one is right around $3 million. So, Griffin, Caminiti, Schmidt, and Boston. What's his name? Wow, I forget his name. Boston Bateman. I got to remember that. Boston Bateman's the other one you expect to sign. So Griffin, Caminiti, Schmidt, Bateman, all expecting them to sign. So let's see. How is Drew doing? Doing well. Thank you for asking. Iraq. Let's see. Answered that one. Iraq serenade. Sorry. I saw her lower leg. Shandy, that's when Eric was back there working on the printer. Cody Champion, why much it's a joke because she doesn't like to be on camera ever. So like when she comes in here for Ask E-Rock on the weekends, usually she's still like in she just woke up whatever she slept in. So she sits right here off camera when she does Ask E-Rock. If she's got her hair and makeup and all stuff done, she'll come on, but we're mostly just joking. Let's see. I read Matt's comments and Harry Dunn's voice from, she touched my leg. Okay, kill him. Hey, Thomas, that's a nice looking shirt. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, our Paris gear looks awesome, man. I like both the logos we have. The horizontal one is meant to look like a street sign, and the shield is meant to look like the interstate sign. So we like them a lot, man. They're great logos. Our design team, Andy did an awesome job with them. And the website's up and we're rolling, man. So I know I've mentioned it a bunch, but if you got an issue, we'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Thanks to everybody who has helped us spread the word. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Let's see. Doodly-doo. Hey, Melody Benedict Walsh. Good morning. Hope your day's off to an awesome start. All right, here's all the comments about the jingle. Let me scroll past those. Yeah, like you're saying, try to cancel the background noise. I'm telling you, there aren't any background noises. Like I even that last time turned my mic off, down and off. Like there's nothing up. There was nothing potted up except for just the Bluetooth for the jingle. So I don't know what's going on, man. It's definitely some setting on this board. Either that or it's a hardware problem. Because the crazy thing that y'all told me you have not been able to hear is so on this audio board, they even have they have hotkeys. So like I can play things like sound effects, like the air horn or whatever. So y'all told me y'all can hear that. What y'all can't hear is there's a music bed on here. And y'all told me y'all can't hear that. But it's weird that you can hear the sound effects that are programmed in, but you can't hear the music bed. So it's like even the programmed in sound effects on here aren't working, which is weird. Anyway. All right. Yeah, Shelby said, what's the word on Priester? So Priester, I actually saw him last week. He's playing for the Baton Rouge Rougarou. I think just for June, and then in July he's going to be a Team USA. Apparently, it's like a JUCO Team USA, so he's going to play for that team this summer. And then you wait on the draft, And my suspicion is Priester is going to get picked and probably sign, but yeah, if he ends up at LSU, that's a huge win for LSU because he is your starting catcher next year. Samuel Smith, when we talked about portal misses like Bingham, we can't forget Lore. He was so good at Xavier, but never here. Well, he played a different role here. He was a situational lefty here, whereas he was a starter at Xavier. So, I mean, I guess that's fair. But Lore gave you some good innings as a situational lefty. But yeah, sure. I mean, if you expected him to come in here and be a starter, then certainly he wasn't that. But I don't know if that's what you expected. I mean, you had Hurd coming back. You brought in Jump and Holman. I mean, and then you had Cam Johnson. I think we all kind of figured that Kate Anderson, that's how it would go. I don't know that I expected Lore to come in and be a weekend guy. Austin Kidder, Caleb Clark, did he go JUCO for a certain reason? Yeah. So when you go JUCO, you can this is what Bryce Harper did. So if you don't go straight from high school to the pros, if you go JUCO, you can go to the pros after 1 year in JUCO. So, but if you enroll in a 4-year college, you have to stay 3 years or till you're 21. So Bryce Harper, if you remember, didn't go straight out of high school. He did 1 year of JUCO and then went into the draft. So I think that was the plan for Priester, was to go JUCO and try to go into the draft. Do you think Big John Pearson will be a potential DH next year? Could be. So John Pearson is Josh Pearson's brother, and I do expect he'll show up on campus, and I do expect he'll have a role next year on the team for sure. Trey Potan, what's going on? Rocky, is the Fry kid coming back? I think he's a transfer risk as well. He's from Rose Pine, small school or small town. I think coming to a big stage from Rose Pine was just a lot for him. And again, that's a guy that's going to be going into year 3 that needs to go somewhere where he can get at bats. They can get playing time. It's not going to happen here. Now, Jay liked him, clearly. I mean, Jay kept giving him pinch hit opportunities, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the kid at all, but the reality is what it is. He had 185 against SEC pitching this year. And he didn't hit any homers. I mean, he's just a big kid who looked good in the uniform, but was outmatched against higher competition. So that's a guy that I would think should probably go. And I mean, you'd love to have him back for depth and see if he develops, but you'd understand if he went and got somewhere go once. Like I would have said the same thing about Travinsky 2 years ago. Travinsky wasn't gonna play. I mean, he was buried on the depth chart. You had brought in Bear Jones and Brady Neal. You had Milazzo there as well. You'd signed Priester. Like, it didn't make sense for Travinsky to stay, but he stayed and then became a catcher, DH, and carved out a really nice role on a national championship team and came back for a 5th year. So sometimes guys stay and it works out. They get better. but it's again, keep saying guys have decisions they're going to have to make. Yeah. Gregory Gordy, Joe Hamilton, Matt, I so love your last AFR on spending $100 million on Derek Carr. I've watched it again and again. Made sure my family saw it. Much love, highest respects. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we had some fun yesterday. The Pro Football Focus put out their rankings. They ranked the NFL quarterbacks, and Derek Carr was 21 on the list. Of the 11 quarterbacks behind him, 8 were either rookies or second-year guys, and the other 3 were Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, and Daniel Jones. And so I did a bit yesterday about how else you could waste $100 million, and we had a lot of fun with it. It'll be up on YouTube if you missed it. You see, this I disagree with. Yeski can't make chicken salad out of chicken doo-doo. Like, you're about to have 3 pitchers, Jump, Holman, Hurd, all taken in round 1 or in the with the sandwich picks. 3 guys that are all going to be probably top 50 picks. Certainly Holman and Jump will be top 50, Hurd top 100. And then on top of that, Christian Little, Cade Anderson, the number 1 player in the state, like Guidry, who threw a lot last year, Cam Johnson, who's a lefty, who throws 100. Like, you had talent on this pitching staff. Fidel Ulloa, 96 from the right side. Like, that ain't chicken doo-doo. You had talent, brother. Like, that's just a dead wrong opinion. Like, that's the reason he deserves criticism, is you have talent. You got 3 dudes that are all projected to be top 100 picks, 2 of them in the top 50. Like, and you're going to tell me you were a bottom half of the SEC staff? Like, that's a problem. Like, that's when you look and go, was it Yeski? Like, that's a fair question to ask. Club Ruckus, good morning. Sorry I'm late. No worries. Thomas, can we confirm Moffitt News? I looked on Twitter, didn't see it. Looked on Google, didn't see it. Might be, let me look at his Insta. Nothing on Instagram. So we'll see. Moffitt's interesting. Both of his parents are educators. Like, his mom's a high school principal. I think his dad maybe is a professor. And they're big on him going to school, getting a degree, and baseball is like, I mean, obviously he's a great talent and all, but he was a guy that could have signed out of high school, but his parents valued education. He's going to stay in school and all that stuff, but he's got to go where he can pitch. So maybe that'll be next year here. Like, all these guys are talking about, I hope they stay. I'm not shoving any of them out the door. I want veteran guys who have experience in the program to keep getting better. It's just, in the portal era, you got to have these conversations. Is Drew fired up to learn the new jingle? I haven't played it for him yet, man. We got to get him to learn it, though. When he would do like the other jingle, got to give him like Parish Construction and Roofing. Sounds like you need a firmware update on your board, but trivia, it's brand new. That's my point. Like, I got it in January, and from the first time I used it, it had that issue. How does Jay replace Holman and Jump? Well, you're going to go in the portal. I mean, look, he signed starting pitchers each of the last 2 years out of the portal. 2 years ago was Skeens and Hurd. Last year was Holman and Jump. Lore, too, as well. But remember, you got Chase Shores coming off the injury. You have Cade Anderson coming back. Cam Johnson, who will be vying for a starting role, provided he's back. Griffin Herring, if he comes back, is going to want to be a starter, so he'd be in the mix there as well. And then you're going to go in the portal and get a proven starter or 2. So, I mean, if you end up with those 6 options vying for your 3 weekend spots, you hope you hit on 3 out of the 6. Hope you hit on all of them. You see, Cody said, could you save the Parish clip to a program button? I absolutely could, but the problem is, even when I'm playing the hotkey of the already programmed music bed, y'all say that's overmodulating. So, I mean, I hear it fine in my headphones. I heard the Parish jingle fine in my headphones, which is plugged into the board. Maybe it's something on StreamYard. See, but I have the default going through this echo cancellation, reduce mic background noise. Stereo audio. Why can't I choose that? I don't know. Anyway. All right. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page. Share the post. Yeah, the sound effects have always, like, the sound effects were default sound effects. Those came built into the board. And so the sound effects work. The music bed that's built in doesn't. When I Bluetooth something in, it doesn't. Like, I'm pretty sure I've tried to Bluetooth in calls here before, and y'all said you couldn't hear it. Rick, we need a Bama burning update with the comparison from Saban to now. Could do that. Mark, any other names beside the Louisville shortstop we might be after? As I hear them, I'll tell you. I'm sure there are. Like, I'm positive Jay is already hammering the portal. And I'll find out names as I do. I'll share. Wade Reeves said, Matt, I agree. Widespread underperformance. Did I read Herring's lips right about fastball pitch calling? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So you never have to update anything out the box. I'm not saying it, but like from the first time I used it, like it wasn't working. I've reset the Bluetooth. No, Cody, here's the thing. The program hotkeys are working. Like the sound effects on the hotkeys are working. The music bed is like, y'all can't hear this. That's the thing everybody always tells me is off. Echo cancellation is on. Like, I'm not purporting to know everything, but I have worked in radio for 20 years. Like, I'm around sound and audio equipment and audio boards and mics and every day of my life. Like, I'm not an audio engineer, but I work with this stuff every day. Like, it's probably, my guess is it's a hardware issue. It's probably something either that's an issue with the cable running from the Rodecaster to the laptop, or the hardware of the Rodecaster is probably the issue. Margaret, let's see. What % of high school players who sign to major leagues make it to the majors? That's a good question, Margaret. I mean, it's microscopic. The number of players that ever make it to the big leagues. Let me see. Um, 5 to 6% of drafted players ever play in the major leagues. 40% of first round draft picks never make it either. And that's not even straight out of high school. That's all players. 5% of all players drafted ever play in the pros. In major leagues. Tanner, what do you think the chance is Jones returns? Again, I think I've answered this a bunch. Like, coming back doesn't benefit Jones tremendously. It's counterintuitive for people. They think come back and make more. Not really. Like, because in baseball, when they'll take a height, like, look at Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin's a guy that's going to be a mid-first round pick because he's a 5-tool guy. He's 18, like he's in high school. He's never even played against elite competition. But they're looking at tools. They're looking at skill set. Jared Jones is never going to be fast or utilize a great glove or great arm. He's going to play first base and hit homers. So now you could have an elite power bat, and that could go a long way. And I think that's why he's going to make $1 million. But if he comes back, it's not like they're going to put him in the outfield and he's going to become a dynamic left fielder. You know what I mean? They're not going to put him behind the plate at this level, and Jones goes and becomes this like brick wall. He's going to play first base and hit homers. That's his future. So, you know, you just like, You know, I mean, could he get to a point if he comes back and has like another 30 home run season? Could he improve his stock? Sure. How much? I don't know. And is it worth the risk? I don't know. I mean, look, I want Jared Jones to come back, y'all. Selfishly, as an LSU fan, put that big dude on third and bat him third, or on first and bat him third in your lineup again, or fourth. Yeah, I want Jared Jones. Of course I do. I've just talked to scouts that where his projectability is. And so if someone calls him and says, we're going to offer you $1 million, we'll offer you 1-2. Do you want it? You want to sign? Like, you going to say no? Maybe he does. I don't know. Adam LeMarie, your take on Mark Kingston being fired from South Carolina. I get it. He's been there 7 years. They missed postseason twice. This year they didn't advance beyond a regional. I mean, that's a program that, won back-to-back national titles in 10 and 11, and they've struggled to get there with the coaches since Ray Tanner. They have lofty expectations at South Carolina. Now, the really good news is they got some studs on that team that are probably going to hit the portal, which is the scuttle. And one of them might be Ethan Petrie. And if Ethan Petrie hits the portal, LSU should immediately pick up the phone and call that dude. Any teams on next season schedule game you look forward to watching? You talking about football? I mean, all of them, except like Nichols and South Alabama and the games nobody cares about. But definitely interested in the USC opener. I think, both teams are so similar. The last two Heisman winners, losing your, replacing your defensive coordinators, overhaul on the defensive staff. I think they're very similar. So for sure. Randall Moffitt will be a flake thrower next year. I think you mean flamethrower, but he already is. But where are the innings? Like that's kind of the question. Like where are the innings for him? You go somewhere where you walk in throwing 97, 98, like you're immediately the best arm on the staff. Like that could happen for him somewhere where if you need to go somewhere and get innings, we'll see. I hope he comes back. I just keep reiterating, these are dudes that have a decision to make. Wade Reeves, during Herring's last outing, he was great about fastball pitch calls. At least that's what it looks like. I'll mess you the clip. Okay. Except for the freshmen returning for their sophomore year. A lot of guys we didn't get to see a lot, man. Kucherak could be a guy that's a starter in the infield. MJ Seo could be a starter for you next year. Yeah, absolutely. Jones is about to be the righty Adam Dunn. I'm curious to see the new sophomores than freshmen. Is Monster considered a 5-tool guy? No. While he's shown you he can leave the yard, he doesn't have a plus power tool. He certainly hit for average, and his defensive range isn't great just because he's a smaller guy. So I think he projects as a second baseman. Like I don't know, like does he have the arm to play third? I don't know. He's not going to be a shortstop. I don't think he's going to be a shortstop. So, but that's a guy that, if he plays at LSU for 3 years and hits 300 for 3 years and continues to develop defensively, that's a guy that you could see from freshman to junior year go into be a guy kind of like Terrio. I mean, Terrio was a guy that showed up and started as a freshman. And played for 3 years and batted at the top of the lineup and was an everyday player and ended up being a third-round pick of the Cubs. I don't remember exactly what his signing bonus was. I mean, that was 23 years ago. But he's a third-round pick. I mean, that was a top 100 guy. That could happen. Milam could be a top 100 guy for sure. I don't see the day where Milam ever is a first-rounder. What's Jay's NIL budget for the portal? There isn't really a budget per se. It's not like to say, okay, you have X to spend. It's you're going to go see what it takes to get who you want. I mean, like for example, I told you, Braden Montgomery got $750 to go to A&M last year. LSU wasn't going to spend that. They wanted Braden Montgomery. This kid from Mississippi. He would have been LSU's day one starting right fielder and probably the closer as well. He would have been a two-way guy, and he would have batted probably leadoff. A&M gave him $750. He went there. I get it. So I don't know how to answer that. It's going to be, recruit the guys you want hard, explain the NIL opportunities, the development opportunities, and try to get them here. Margaret, Georgia doing good. Their pitching coach, yeah. Good year for West today. And oddly, they were a better offensive team than they were on the mound. They weren't a great pitching team this year, but it helps when you have Charlie Condon hitting you 40 homers. The jingle's catchy. Thank you. Thanks to Toby Tomplay. He's the man. Can you give us stats on the SC player Petrie you just talked about? Well, you should have remembered Ethan Petrie because last year as a freshman, he homered a bajillion times. So he just finished up his sophomore year at South Carolina. Here you go. Stats. Petrie, as a freshman, hit 376 with 23 homers. This year as a sophomore, hit 306 with 21 homers. So he's a 300 hitter and a 20 homer guy. If he goes in the portal, yes, go get him. I would like that a lot. A lot. Yeah, Jimmy, talking about Jake Brown pitching. Yeah, I mean, Jake Brown's 95 from the left side, and that's a decision they have to make about next year. Is Brown going to be a two-way guy? And I think that's something in the fall you absolutely do, or maybe even this summer, if he goes and plays in a wooden bat league somewhere, maybe try to get him some innings. Because I think you can absolutely use him in some capacity next year. It's just a matter of what does he want to do? Where does he see his future? Does he want to pitch? All that sort of stuff. Let's see. Connect the 3.5 TRS cable to your device. Don't use the TRS as two-way audio isn't supported. Eliminate Bluetooth completely. The cable, I mean, Cody, I very much appreciate this suggestion. But like I'm using the cable from that came, the default cable that came with the Roadcaster. Like, I don't know what else to like how like if there's a cable that came with this box that connects to my gaming laptop, that cable should work. Right? I mean, it's in a reach here to think that should work. So that's why I think it's a hardware issue, either with the cable or with the box. It's not a setting. Anyway, I'm gonna call him today. Is MJ Sayo still on team? Yes, MJ Sayo redshirted this year. Skip, what's good? Hopeful libertarian. Do boosters help with NIL baseball or just football? Obviously, LSU baseball is next level compared to next schools. Yes, every program has its key supporters. Like, if you walk into the box and look at the Champions Club, there's two names above the Champions Club. It's named after the wives of two very wealthy people who have been baseball supporters forever. And if Jay needs something, he could probably call them. Like, when Matt McMahon needs something, there's two or three like wealthy, very diehard basketball fans that can help Matt McMahon. Same with Jay Clark in gymnastics. And then there's the collective where the money to the collective goes in the pool. And if the collective needs to help with stuff, they do that there. So yes, baseball has its donors and supporters that will help with that stuff. And LSU's baseball, I'll tell you this, like last year's LSU baseball NIL budget was double Arkansas's, and Arkansas obviously is a great program. But, or I shouldn't say budget, what they spent. Their dollar spent last year was double what Arkansas spent. And both teams are home right now, but Arkansas is a pretty good measuring stick. All right, a couple more. Chapa Mila, morning, Uncle Scone. Who do you think is going to hit the portal? So you've already got 3 in the portal and talked about that a good bit. I think you got another half dozen guys that'll all have decisions to make, and some of them should be pretty obvious. The contributors that you have to watch, again, I'm not predicting this. I'm saying the contributors that you have to watch: Gavin Guidry, Paxton Kling, Brady Neal, Cam Johnson, Ethan Fry. Like, those are the guys that you got to watch to say, okay, did they jump in the portal? Do they come back? Like, those are guys with decisions to make. Mark, does baseball transfer portal have the same restrictions as football? What do you mean? I mean, there aren't any restrictions. Melody, you may have already answered this. Does Braswell come back? No, it's a good question. We did talk about it earlier. My understanding, talking to scouts, is Braswell is an end of the draft guy, if at all. So if he doesn't get drafted, then they have to make a decision. Do you want him back? Now, of course, I think you'd want a senior back who was one of your leading hitters in SEC play this year. And but if you're going to actively also recruit a shortstop out of the portal this year, then I think that's another indicator that maybe Braswell does sign. I think if Braswell gets picked, he signs. Remember, you come back for senior year, you forfeit all leverage. And even if you're drafted higher, they will sign you for underslot value because you have no leverage. It's a take it or leave it proposition. Like, do you want to sign or not? Matt, give your thoughts on Arkansas moving on from Dave Van Horn. The Arkansas fans want Tony V. I don't know that Vitello would go back there. So Vitello was an assistant under Van Horn at Arkansas and obviously got the Tennessee job, and they've had a little bit of friction since he's been there. So I don't know that Van Horn would want Vitello to take over for him. And whenever Van Horn does step down, he'll probably be involved, should be involved in hiring or naming a successor. And I don't know that he wants it to be Vitello. And I don't know that, like, if you're Tony Vitello and you've got all the resources you need at Tennessee, why do you leave? I mean, I think both are very comparable programs. I mean, Tennessee has a good history, back to Todd Helton and Chris Burke and a lot of those great teams in the 90s, early 2000s. They went through a very lean period where they kept missing on coaches. I mean, Dave Serrano felt like a good hire when they got him from Fullerton. That was an abject disaster. But Vitello is recruited well. He's pumped talent in that program. I mean, they've been pretty great. I don't know why you'd leave. Here's a good comp for you. It's like when Saban was at LSU. Tony Vitello at Tennessee is kind of like Saban at LSU. Like, the only way you'd leave is for, like, the pros, like, to step up a level, because there's nothing on the parallel that's a better opportunity than what you have. Like, I mean, Tony Vitello at Tennessee, the only place better is LSU. I mean, I don't know that you could do better. You know what I mean? If what you're seeking is like greater, I mean, I'll tell you, this is the one difference maybe. And this is why Kevin O'Sullivan, honestly, when LSU, before they hired Jay Johnson, y'all may not believe this, but like, they were deep in the weeds in the conversation with Kevin O'Sullivan. I mean, talking money and what it was going to take, and some of the off-field stuff kind of spooked some people, and I don't need to go down that road again, but the thing that Kevin O'Sullivan expressed and why he was interested is because he wins a national championship at Florida, and they got, 1,000 people show up at a championship celebration? I mean, LSU is just different. I mean, you got 5,000 butts in the seats for a midweek game. It doesn't matter what Kevin O'Sullivan does at Florida, he's never going to have the fan interest that you do at LSU. So that's maybe one thing with Tennessee. Baseball at Tennessee is always just going to be ancillary to the other sports. You can get excited when they win, and they do, but it's never going to be like it is here and at Arkansas, quite honestly. So that'd be the one thing. This is going to be interesting. Miracle Martinez said Texas baseball is looking for a new coach. That'd be another place for coaches to land. Texas, if they do fire David Pierce, I think it'd be really interesting. If there's always the rumors about Tim Corbin leaving Vanderbilt. I think Tim Corbin is just not. He's one of those coaches that just doesn't love the NIL piece. I mean, there was real talk about Tim Corbin taking the Army job. Tim Corbin is an Army man and talked about going to coach at West Point, where you don't have to deal with NIL and all the stuff. You just coach baseball. So, I mean, I don't know, but that's always a possibility, I would think. Anyway, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, what jobs come open and how competitive a market that is. Reading about Taft donors passing. Richard Zuschlag, I didn't know that. True, he helped pay Les's buyout. If I remember correctly, Richard is Acadian Ambulance, correct? Yeah, CEO of Acadian Ambulance. Oh, wow. 76 years old. I don't know if he paid Les's buyout. That was 8 years ago now, and I don't remember off the top of my head who paid what for that buyout. Let's see, depth of the bullpen next year, losing some arms, starting pitching could be elite. You're always going to have arms, man. It's hard. Like, it's so hard to answer that right now, Caleb, because you don't know who's like, we're talking about Aiden Moffett. Like Moffett, Ulloa, Lore, Dutton. I mean, a lot of arms, like, are they back? Are they not? So it's really hard to know until you know that part. So, okay. Let's bounce, y'all. Again, I was supposed to have an 8 a.m. That got bumped, so I was able to stay here for another 48 minutes. Wow, we've been going for like an hour. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you need an orthopedics, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all, have an awesome day. We'll see you. Peace.